Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of BathroomBrews. With the release of Lost Caverns of Ixalan, I wanted to explore the Explore mechanic to find out if we could build an Explore-themed EDH deck. It's a lot of exploring. There is Hawkball of the Surging Soul, which is probably the best Explore commander, but limits you to Simic colors and Merfolk. I thought about building a 4-color deck using Atraxa the Grand Unifier or Atraxa's Praetor Voice, which does give us access to blue, and 2 pretty powerful commander options. But after a quick Scryfall search, there were only 3 blue Explore cards I would really think would be worth adding. Subterranean Schooner, Deep Fathom Echo, and Iscontal Current Conductor, none of which I think are good enough to add for a 4th color, especially in budget decks. Instead, I went with Thalia and the Gitrog monster because of a Pioneer deck that I saw. Okay, without further ado, let's get into it. The deck used Amelia and Wildgrowth Walker to explore and then gain life until Amelia wiped the board. The astute among you probably realized that Amelia and Wildgrowth Walker would loop forever if it wasn't for Amelia's ability, which wipes the board. Unless, of course, you have enough Hardened Scales effects in play. If you want to get her past 20 power, you're going to need 3 scale effects, since putting 1, 2, or 3 counters on it one at a time still get her to an even 20. I did include 3 scale effects, but I didn't include any ways to win if you manage to get this loop going, so make sure you have a way to interrupt it or the game ends in a draw. Now, as I worked on this deck, I realized some themes were improved with Explore. Reanimation, Landfall, Blink, and counters. Reanimation pairs nicely with the mill part of Explore. Landfall is great since you'll almost always have lands in your hand, which is why I picked the Thalia and Gitrog monster, since they give you additional land drops. Blink will let you trigger Explore again, and then counters, since Explore puts counters on your creatures. I tried to narrow the scope of the deck by focusing on one of these 4 themes, but I found it just became a worse version of each. So instead, I opted to embrace all of these themes in my deck building. Of these 4 themes, Reanimation has the smallest package with only 3 Reanimation spells in the deck. There's still Recursion, but I'm talking about straight Reanimation here. Tayam Luminous Enigma is great here since they synergize with both the counters and the mill, and a lot of the creatures that explore tend to be under 3 mana. Defossilize is an on-theme Reanimation spell that has a creature explore twice when you bring it back. It is 5 mana, so be careful with what you pick here, but I still think it's worth the include, and it's on theme. And then Life and Death is a budget Reanimate. The best Reanimation targets in the deck are Regal Behemoth or the original Gitrog monster. If you're looking for an additional Reanimation target and your budget allows you, you could always throw Avenger of Zendikar in. It's expensive, cares about lands entering, and wins you the game pretty easily. The landfall package we have is pretty straightforward. We have a lot of spells that put lands into play, such as Rampant Growth, Farseek, and Harrow, along with most of the retreats in Abzan colors, Retreat to Hagra, Retreat to Kazandu, and Feldar Retreat. One of the best cards here is one of the newer ones in Splunking, which takes our budget mana base and turns it into a not-so-budget mana base by having all of our tap lands enter the battlefield untapped. This is a state-based action, not a trigger like Amulet of Vigor, so they will just enter untapped, they don't come into play then untap. Conduit of Worlds is doing its best Crucible of Worlds impression, letting us get lands from the graveyard and putting them back into play. You can also tap this to cast a permanent spell from your graveyard. That can be the only spell you cast in a turn, so generally speaking, it's not going to be worth it. While we have Tireless Tracker that'll give us clues to crack the card draw, and triggers Astrid Peth's ability. The counter package was the last to be added during deck building. I included 3 scale effects with Hardened Scales, Calming of Whisper Hopes, and Lae'zel. These powerful effects help your weaker creatures grow into big threats. If you wanted the deck to be a bit more focused, I would probably add more counter support since it has the deepest card pool. The Blink package is far and away my favorite of the 4. I included the usual instants with Cloud Shift, Ephemerate, and Eerie Interlude. For the Blink creatures, we have Charming Prince, Restoration Angel, and my favorite Abdel Adrian Gorian's Ward. Abdel can protect your board, grow a massive army, and has great synergy with Eternal Witness and Seasoned Dungeoneer. If you have one of the instant blink spells in your graveyard, you can move Abdel with Eternal Witness underneath it to repeatedly blink as many creatures as you want. Now onto the core of the deck, the Explore creatures, or the Explore cards in general. We have a total of 25 cards that care about Explore in some way, most of which are creatures that explore on ETB. Jadelight Splunker is great at any point on the curve, letting us explore early or dig for an answer late game. Kellen Daring Traveler provides us with map tokens for 1 green mana, and has a pseudo explore trigger on attack. The best of the bunch is Path of Discovery, which lets every creature explore when it ETBs. This doesn't specify non-token creatures, which means with Abdel, all of our 1/1s that enter will explore a whole bunch. Combine that with Topography Tracker, which will let us double up on explore triggers. Now, if you have a little extra cash to spend this holiday season, there are some cards I'd highly suggest you pick up for upgrades. The first upgrade I'd make is Bolas' Citadel, and I'd probably cut Sunrise Seeker. While we are cutting an explore creature, the card advantage gained from Bolas' Citadel is worth the trade-off in my opinion. Next, I'd cut Twist and Turns and add in Scroll Rack. Scroll Rack makes it easy to guarantee the outcome of your explore triggers, and is a great way to refill your hand. You can put all of your lands from your hand on top of your library, take that many cards off the top of your library, explore a bunch, and then just draw those lands. And then finally, I would cut Restoration Angel for Teleportation Circle. Circle's a repeatable way to blink artifacts and creatures. So can we build a dedicated explore deck in EDH? Yes we can. In fact, I think Abzan is probably the best color combination for this. Thalia and the Gitrog monster are great since they give you additional land drops and will slow your opponents down, while Tayam Luminous Enigma is a powerful value and combo engine in the command zone. Don't forget to give this video a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and leave a comment down below with your favorite Ixalan commander so far. And let me know what you're looking forward to in Murders at Karlov Manor. Alright, happy holidays, and I'll see ya!